America won the revolution, but soon after came a moment it could still lose the republic. By March 1783, the war was basically over, but the officers of the Continental Army were furious. Congress was broke, their pay had been delayed by years, and promised pensions might not ever come. And some officers were quietly talking about the use of the army to put pressure on Congress. And it's the kind of moment where revolutions can just go off the rails. So George Washington sees all this, and he calls for a meeting this day, March 15th. And many of the officers expect a big show of support from him, but instead Washington warns them that if the army starts forcing the hand of civilian government, it would destroy the very republic they had fought to build. And as the meeting goes on and not making enough headway with the group, Washington pulls out a letter from his pocket to read to them. But before he could read it, he paused and reached for a pair of glasses. Now, most of the officers had never seen him wear glasses before. In the 18th century, glasses were associated with age and vulnerability and not so much strength. And Washington had always carefully cultivated an image of calm authority and physical command. And showing this kind of vulnerability was very unusual for him. But he looks out at them and he says, "Gentlemen, you must pardon me. I have grown gray in your service and now find myself growing blind." The room goes quiet. These men had marched through 8 brutal years of war together, and in that moment they were reminded that Washington had endured it with them. He had refused a salary during the war and asked only for his expenses. He spent years alongside them in the same cause. This wasn't a distant commander scolding them. It was a fellow veteran asking them not to break the country they had sacrificed to create. And the talk of confrontation of Congress slowly fades and the army stands down. Now, this moment is one of those quiet miracles behind the American Republic. Washington had enormous strength and authority over these men, and it was enough perhaps to push them towards the pressure they wanted. And history gives us plenty of examples of where that road leads. A few years later in France, Napoleon would use the loyalty of the army to seize control of the government. But Washington, he does the opposite. Many countries can produce strong leaders. That doesn't seem to be a problem. Fewer can produce leaders strong enough to see the greater good beyond the moment, to de-escalate instead of inflame. Sometimes the highest form of strength isn't pressing harder, it's knowing when to demonstrate restraint.